Ձեզ հարգելի բարեկամներ, Սփյուռքի ձայնը հեռուստահանդեսը դարձյալ ձեզ հետ է։ Միացյալ ազգերի կազմակերպությունում ավարտվեց կանանց համաշխարհային 56-րդ համագումարը, որի շրջանակներում մարտի 8-ին տեղի ունեցավ միջոցառում, եւ ես այժմ ուզում եմ ձեզ ներկայացնել իմ պատրաստած ակնարկը այդ մասին։
Last week on International Women's Day, the Association for Trauma Outreach and Prevention, spearheaded by its founder and CEO, Dr. Ani Kalayjian, organized a symposium parallel to the UN's Commission of the Status of Women's 56th session. The co-sponsors of the event were Voices for Freedom, the Armenian Constitutional Rights Protective Center, the Armenian American Society for Studies on Stress and Genocide, the Worldwide Network for Gender Empowerment of Fielding Graduate University, and the Global Health Institute. The symposium began by a slideshow presentation by Dr. Kalayjian, which focused on the work on gender empowerment.
The theme is empowerment education, so we wanted everybody that came to this, almost 2,000 women and men came from other countries to this weeks of deliberations. So we want them to hear what our organization is doing on empowerment issues around the world in Saudi Arabia, Middle East, Africa, and Asia and India. And the presenters too, they all brought in their own perspective, one from starting from slave trade, mid-Atlantic slave trade, to what's happening in Wall Street currently, and others, how to empower people from other perspectives, their health, giving them sight, alleviating trauma, alleviating sexual bond and slavery, enlightening people how to work harmoniously, men and women together. So that's, in fact, the purpose.
Dr. Christine Overton, ATOP board member, United Nations representative, president and CEO of the Hanover Chamber of Commerce, presented a moving film on the importance of helping disabilities such as blindness. She spoke about her work in India, specifically about establishing a hospital for those with vision challenges.
To be a woman in India and working class, low class, is really difficult. To be an old woman, working class and blind is a liability for families, and they're left discarded in the corner. And this hospital gives priority to babies and to elderly women first. And by giving someone their eyesight back, you are releasing 2 people to work. That's huge. It's huge. And it just moved me to tears, and you could see I was literally on my knees at that point, and that wasn't put on for cameras. I was literally moved by the compassion for these people.
The next speaker was Queen Mother Dr. Blakely. She is a community mayor of Harlem as well as an ambassador for peace. She shared her own journey from Africa to Harlem and then her recent encounter with the youth at Occupy Wall Street.
And most of the young people that gathered on Wall Street happens to be basically what we would consider in the United States. And as I told them, you're the white chillins, which means, translation, you're the white children, the elitist white children, well-trained. And I say, I notice you don't have any black and brown children here with you. What are you doing?
She also raised questions about addressing our own American dark history of slavery. The third speaker was Ms. Letitia Ferrara, who has a master's degree in human services from Lincoln University and a fellowship for Worldwide Network for Gender Empowerment. She presented a PowerPoint lecture on empowering women through demystifying sexuality.
I work for a program that provides mental health therapy for residents within the homeless shelter system. Being homeless is a traumatic experience, so to be able to provide on-site therapy to help people during that time of transition from homelessness to being empowered to be self-sufficient is very beneficial to me. So I empower women in that aspect of my life. and at times I incorporate my work through demystifying sexuality and the impact of trauma with those women. As a fellow of the Worldwide Network for Gender Empowerment, I'm able to bring forth my work with demystifying sexuality, and that is how I was invited here today.
As a survivor of genocide, I lost my parents. My grandparents were killed during the genocide. Even my auntie, my uncle, my cousins, and my big sister, she were raped, and then they cut their with machetes. So to be here to celebrate International Women's Day, to me, is to give a voice to women.
A very lively discussion followed from the audience. Women spoke about the continued violence taking place in many parts of Africa and the Middle East, as well as the wonderful grassroots efforts in transforming violence and supporting our traumatized communities.